Hi there, this is Just Nigeria. Coming up on the program, biting the dust. We look at building collapses in Nigeria and justice for victims. Plus, climate change. Advocates calls on Nigeria to prioritize the environment. And renewable energy. Gambia to drill for oil as plan to cut carbon emissions suffers financial constraints. Also,
my name is Vanessa DeBio. Check me out.
The development experts leading the campaign against stigmatization of mental illness in Africa. Welcome to Just Nigeria from the BBC and Channels Television, where we bring you stories making the rounds on social media. I am Aneta Felix. Top on our list today is a story about building collapses, which are fast assuming a national emergency in Nigeria. In a year, at least 2 or more buildings are reported to give way, killing and injuring scores of people. Each time this happens, authorities are quick to talk tough about prosecuting property owners, scaling up monitoring and enforcing compliance to building regulations. But beyond the fine speeches and empathetic rhetoric, what happens to victims after excavators leave building collapse sites? And how many people have been prosecuted so far? In this report, Just Nigeria's Wale Fakile provides the answers.
A would-be architectural masterpiece, flattened like a pile of pancakes in a reality so stark. The implosion was deafening, the consequent human toll more years splitting. The building, 21 stories, came crashing down last week in Lagos, crushing many hearts and dreams. And when the dust settled, no fewer than 44 lives had been snuffed out.
We have 9 survivors. However, there are additional 6 people that we've also been able to identify that they were, on site.
Rescue operations are still ongoing at the site of the wreckage here in Ikoyi, a highbrow neighborhood in Nigeria's commercial hub. But the loud bang on that fateful day re-echoed an anomaly that's become all too common in Nigeria.
Since the onset of the 21st century, the real estate market in Nigeria has witnessed a boom. But running side by side this prosperity is a major challenge that assumed a national emergency. Yearly, cases of building collapses are recorded across the country with alarming death tolls. While this is a national problem, Lagos, Nigeria's most populous city, seems to be at the heart of the tragic incidents.
In 2019, the Nigerian Building Institute reported that 43 buildings under construction collapsed across Nigeria. 17 of these occurred in Lagos. These accidents continue despite the tough talk from authorities to wield the big stick after each incident.
One of the worst collapses happened in 2014. Worshippers were attending a gathering led by a popular TV evangelist when a 6-story building caved in, killing 116 people, most of them South Africans. The church and the engineers responsible for the building were charged to court for criminal negligence, but the matter has dragged on 7 years down the line. Bolaji Ayomide, a senior advocate of Nigeria, has been trying to get justice for some of the South African victims in a separate lawsuit at the courts.
It's a matter of getting sufficient compensation for the dependents, the children, the spouses, the relatives of these deceased persons.
A similar building collapse happened in 2017 when a structure belonging to Lekki Gardens crumbled, killing 34 persons. The owner of the real estate company and 7 others be arrested and charged with manslaughter, among others, by the state. Last year, the Lagos State government entered an out-of-court agreement with the accused. The bargain included dropping all criminal charges and the payment of 10 million naira each to 5 families the company insisted suffered casualties. The names of the families were not listed in the plea bargain, something the judge disapproved of.
I read it and it was extremely unfair to the victims. In fact, it was ridiculous to the extent that there was some kind of compensation to be given to the state government.
We reached out to the Lagos State Commissioner for Justice to get comments on these cases and similar ones, but we were told he was not speaking to journalists until December. Aside the wheels of justice turning painfully slow and sometimes not turning at all, the building industry in Nigeria is allegedly plagued by greed and corruption. Developers are often accused of cutting corners and using substandard materials, while the regulating agencies are too overwhelmed to function optimally or sometimes just look away.
We in the real estate have a very good rapport relationship with the professionals in the built industry, and we believe they don't allow anybody to cut corners. So if there is any other that cut corners, because in every endeavor you will find there are bad eggs, and those bad eggs can be fished out, and they have a disciplinary situation in their own association which they can deal with them, and these guys can be prosecuted.
All attempts to get reactions from the Lagos State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development were neither acknowledged nor responded to. But the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, tells journalists that it would no longer be business as usual.
All buildings that are 5 floors and above that are under construction in Lagos, I've asked for that list and this last night, and I hope they will give it to me. These are going to be some of the due diligence that we're going to conduct with the private sector.
These knotty issues underscore just how chaotic it is to monitor, enforce standards, provide justice for victims, and punish erring players in Nigeria's building industry. The Nigerian National Building Code was created to address these loopholes. The National Building Code contains rules, regulations, specifications, and ethics concerning the design, construction, and maintenance of buildings in Nigeria. One of the basic requirements in the Building Code under the Control of Building Works section is that no building activity should be carried out without duly approved drawings. These drawings must have been prepared by registered building industry professionals. The code states that all building operations should then be carried out under the supervision and management of relevant registered building professionals. These include architects, quantity surveyors, engineers, and government regulatory agencies, amongst others. Building professionals say most collapses occur when these rules are violated.
If you choose to avoid all of that, and then maybe when you have enforcement, you decide to go around the bar because there's somebody to avoid facing the actions. So, some things you face.
The federal government approved the National Building Code in 2006, but the National Assembly is yet to make it a law. What this means is that it is up to states to adopt the provisions and prescribe the sanctions for violation under their own legal framework.
If each of the states and federal were to adopt this, maybe and we're able to implement and enforce. I think the key word is implementation and enforcement.
While it seems buildings may keep falling down in Nigeria with lax enforcement of standards and sanctions, best described as slap on the wrists for guilty industry players, those at the receiving end of this slippery slope of victims and their families. How then can justice be served while ensuring that these collapses are brought to a halt?
We have the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria. You can walk in there and you will get very, very good legal advice and legal help.
There's need for SON with other material laboratories that we have in the country to come up with a very detailed blueprint on material for building construction.
Shortly after the Ikoyi building came down, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu suspended the boss of the Lagos State Building Control Agency, Gbolahan Oki. He also set up a panel to investigate the cause of the incident. Anxious friends and family members besieged the site in the wake of the collapse, hoping to find their loved ones alive. For those whose hopes were dashed, it's another painful reminder of how the collective failing of one sector can have far-reaching and damning results, consequences that may have been averted. Wale Fakile, Just Nigeria.
Building collapses can be avoided. We need to do more as society.